Good morning, welcome to Planet Mojo. I finished up the last of the drywall yesterday, and today I'm going to begin the mudding. Looking pretty good up here. It's going to look way better in a little while. Yesterday, my daughter, whose tiny house this is, she vacuumed up here, got it nice and clean for me. So what I'm going to be doing today is going over all of the screws with a knife like that and getting rid of any paper that's sticking out. Then I'll go around with the back of a screwdriver. This thing is nice and round and smooth, and I'll burnish that in a little bit. Then I won't have paper sticking out in the mud. I'm actually going to be using this fiber tape on this. I think it'll work out better because I have a good deal of gaps. I have a couple gaps around the boxes. I have this big gap here. I got a blowout up there. Blowout right there. I could use paper on this, but I think I'm going to give this stuff a try. And you can't use the lightweight stuff on this. You have to use the pre-mix, or not pre-mix, but the mixed stuff. So I'll be using that on the first coat, but I was going to use that on the first coat anyways because it dries in about an hour. That way I can get the first coat of the lightweight mud on here today and hopefully get this finished up tomorrow. So yeah, I'll describe what I'm doing as I go. First thing I'm going to do is open up this window to get a little more light in here, and I'll probably put the heater on while I'm doing that. It's a little chilly. I don't know if you noticed while I was outside, you could see the snow out there. It's spring, it's the middle of April, but we had a blizzard a couple nights ago, a bad blizzard. In some places there's over a foot of snow, but the wind was blowing so hard that some areas had no snow at all. It just blew it away. So it's going to take a few days for that to melt off, and it's not quite warming up yet, so it's a little chilly up here, and I'm going to want this stuff to dry up, so I'll put the heat on for a little bit. All right, let's get started, get that cut out, and then move along with all this other stuff. Yeah, I've been thinking about it. I may just use that mesh tape on these two odd joints here. I don't know. There isn't a lot of joints to start with. If I start using that here and here, all that's left is this here and the ceiling here. This is a butt and a pressed joint. Yeah, I don't know. I'll probably just use the mesh tape on the whole thing. All right, so any of these obvious screws that are sticking above the surface, I'm just going to screw those in right away. Unfortunately, I don't have a screwdriver for square drive other than my power bit, so I have to take it easy. I have to get the swing of that because it just needs a little tiny turn, and if you go too far, you're going to pop the screw into the gypsum. Okay, let's get started on this. Forgot to mention, I broke my blade while I was working on that. That's the first time that's ever happened to me. They're cheap blades, but I think I got like 50 of them for the cost of one blade at Menards, so I can deal with a broken blade like that. All right, let's get to work. Alright, I got all that prep work done. That took like, I guess about an hour and a half or so. Now I'm gonna go have lunch, and when I get back I'm gonna tape all the seams, and I believe I should be able to get this first coat of mud on today, hopefully. Okay, I'm back from lunch. I cut up some wood so that I can get it up in here, and I'm gonna glue, where did I put that? It must be downstairs. I have the plug that I cut out of here. This has to be moved over an inch. So I'm gonna glue that piece back up in there with some mud around it. When the mud's dry, I'm gonna poke a new hole, a new center hole, an inch over, and I'm gonna re-drill that hole. You can actually patch this without putting a block in there like that, but I don't think it'll hold a light very well. So I'm gonna do it this way. Once I get this glued in there, or once I get this started, I'm gonna clamp it, then I'll get going with the taping. Okay, I got a couple pieces of this mesh on, and I'm gonna show you how I do it before I get too far into this. I put it on in smaller chunks, that way I can bend it as I'm putting it on. Because this stuff doesn't have a pre-perforated center like paper tape does, it's a lot harder to bend, so I do it in small chunks. If I tried to do an entire long run of it, it just won't work. So I do it in the longest run I can. Like on this, I could probably do it in 2-foot chunks, but on this angled wall where I'm spanning this big gap, I'm putting it on in, I don't know, maybe 18-inch chunks. So I'll get this chunk right here, and then that one, and then we'll move on to this big patch up here. And yeah, I gotta get this as well, and the corner up there. A lot to do. Okay, let's get this done. Get an idea of how long I want it. And I'm using scissors and not the tape knife, because I get better control that way. All right, and then I bend it in to the corner, then push it in. I probably should use paper on the majority of this, but I want to use this mesh on this bad stuff, so I may as well just do the whole thing in mesh. This is my burnisher. That gets it nice into the corner and pressed tight against the wall. This is thin mesh as well. I guess it's like 30% thinner. I'll take a little bit off. When you use this mesh, you can't use the pre-mixed thin set compound. You have to use the mixed stuff or it'll crack. But having said that, it's probably not going to crack. But there's definitely a much greater chance that it's going to crack. Alright, this seam is done. Now move on to this butt joint right here. You could probably use a knife right here, but we'll use the scissors. Now, I've seen pros use this stuff and just barely touch it instead of burnishing it in. And that's not a good idea with anything that has pre-applied glue. Alright, that is on there. Okay, now for that big hole up there, it's incredibly hard to work up here. But right here, where I have the stairs, I can actually stand up. And it's fairly comfortable. right, I have all of the seams taped, I have all of the damage prepped and ready for mud. I have all of the screws below the surface. I have any paper that was sticking out cut off. Everything is ready to go, but I'm out of time for today. I'm going to have to do the mudding tomorrow. I don't think I'm going to get past the first coat of mud, but that's just fine. I'll get the first coat on and I'll do any scraping and little touch-up sanding that I need to do, get the place vacuumed up, and then we'll come in and do a scratch coat the day after that. So this is going to be a 3-day job. There's just no way I can work more than 6 or 7 hours on this. It's just too hard on the knees. This is 4'2" or 4'3" tall, and I'm 6'4", so it's incredibly hard on the knees, and it cuts off the circulation if you're on your knees for a really long time, and I don't need that. So tomorrow, first thing, I'll be mixing up some mud and just blasting away at it. I'll get this entire thing mudded tomorrow. So if you want to see that, make sure you subscribe and click on the update icon. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you put them in the comment section below. And if you share the video and or give it a like, it helps the channel out greatly. Thanks for watching and have a great day.